Today we are here discussing progression of what we discussed yesterday. What we discussed yesterday was introduction to introduction to R, introduction to statistics, what is statistics, what is its use and limitation. Now we will move forward. So one thing I wanted to emphasize that this course is about statistics but using software. However, in universities generally we have an examination of paper-based test for statistics. Though both are important, but this course is ahead. Why I am emphasizing that you learn stats via software is primarily for these reasons, that in using softwares there is a speed factor, the calculation happens faster, the sharing of data can be done with collaborative teams. If somebody is sitting in US and I do one part analysis, second part he can do, then more and more data can be stored and that data can be revisited after 20 years, 15 years and those sort of things, and more deep insight can be found about it. Storage space is less, and obviously as we see that AI is very much dependent on data, and data is something which can be moved forward in multiple categories, in multiple disciplines. So from that reason we are using software-based statistics tool. However, nevertheless, the importance of paper-based understanding of statistical tool is not going to be losing its place. You need to understand what does a test mean, and basics of that should be understood at least from the books. Directly if you jump to the software tools, it will be just like you know how to drive a car, but whenever there is a problem you don't know how to fix it, and it might be a very small thing. So please understand, we are moving to a software based statistic world, okay, in this course, but paper based concepts understanding is very much important. Now this is the agenda of today's discussion of lecture 2, that we will understand what is a variable, how will introduction to spreadsheet will be done, and then as we know there are ocean of statistical packages, and then what is R and GUI and other things we will talk about. Okay. So this is the steps for installation. You just need to click this link. You will taken to link there in the browser, and then from there you can copy the RKWard. Though we will commit later. In the meanwhile, it is getting copied. We will continue this lecture. Okay. What is a variable? Variables are used to store and manipulate information in the program. Okay. Like x is equal to 5. X could be a weight. Now this is stored. Now you want to increment it, so you say x is equal to x plus 2, or increase x by twice, two numbers. Whatever operation you want to do, that can be done. Each variable has a unique name that we have to understand. There will be a conflict when you have same names in the data frame or in any tabular format of data with same name. It will say the name already exists. Okay. Now secondly, apart from the naming, also its data type is important. We will see in subsequent lecture that what are different data types are there. I will just tell you nominal, ordinal, ratio and interval. These are the 4 data types which are there. Now these are also need to be specified, and there has some initial value, whatever is the default value of the variable. Now coming to a spreadsheet. What's a spreadsheet? Most of us, everybody of us, I will say spreadsheet has been used anywhere where you see a tabular format, rectangular form of data is a spreadsheet. Now the base famous popular use is software of spreadsheet are Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, those are there. There are other spreadsheet tools also, we will not name them, they are there. Now why it is important to understand this data? Because this will be the basis of complete structure of data. It is arranged in the storage of the memory of the software statistical package. So now let's go ahead. So if you can see this data, this is test1.csv file and open in one of the spreadsheet processor. Now the first line, if you can read file, loudness, range, true peak, dbtp, are the variable names. These are the variable names which are mentioned to the given to the files. So around 11 variables have been captured in this screenshot. Now these 11 variables, the name of the variable, that line is called header. So header of the spreadsheet generally contains the name of the variable. In many softwares they will ask you, do you want to include the header as a data point or as a variable name. Many softwares do ask that because some people directly upload the data and they don't upload the header name. Okay, so please understand header is very important. Now, after you have come to header, let's look at this. Let's look at row 5. What is row 5? Row 5 is an entry about all variables about one respondent, which we call item. So, one item, one respondent is having these many 11 characteristics and its values are given. So, we need to understand one column of the data sheet will be having description of one variable type of all respondents, and one row will be description for one respondents for all variables. Okay, all respondent one variable, all variable one respondent. Okay. Now, I will just show you some statistical packages which are very popular, just to show that ocean of statistical packages exist. These are some, you might be knowing some like SPSS, Stata or Minitab or eViews and JASP and GEMOV, and then we have other softwares like PSPP, Gauss and Mathematica, MATLAB, Octave. Okay. So, there are multiple softwares, most of those have similar work, the basic structure might differ, but what we are trying to say, for us, we are going to stick to R family. Why R family? We will tell you about later. Okay. Now, one thing you might ask, why R family even? Why not just stick to basic Excel or basic spreadsheet processor and directly just learn statistics through that? Yes, that is possible, but however, the limitation here is if you need advanced functions or your own user defined functions, or you need to, what we say, manipulate the data according to your own commands. You need to write commands, multiple commands in one page. So, then you need to learn macros or app script, which along with this Excel tools. Okay. So, these Excel tools are used for very basic things. I am not saying they are very naive. If you are expert, yes, you can manage. Excel has a lot of capacities, but primarily it is not open source, it is a proprietary software. As we told you in the first class itself, we are going to learn open source. We are not going for a proprietary software. That is why we are going for R. Okay. Now, therefore, Google Docs, though it is also not proprietary, it is on the basis or structure is like Excel. Though there are programmers who just learn Google Docs, so choice is yours ultimately, but we will come to R for these reasons. First of all, free and open source that we have mentioned, there is a very strong user community. You don't need to write maybe any function, you just need to find it. I am saying that you don't need to write any function, you need to find it. Why? Somebody or the other might have created it. Somebody other, whatever you are trying to do, somebody or the other might have done it in some of the other form. You just need to find it properly. Okay. Secondly, it is very flexible, like you can write multiple programs, you can take anything, start from, I upload my function, you take my function as an input, rewrite it and do something else. So, because it is open source, you can very easily modify. And high end statistical methods, yes, high end statistical methods are very much possible. So, why I am introducing R here right now also is that it becomes a base for you to learn higher things, and from R you will learn that we can make PPT, we can make Excel sheets, and we can make and graphs, and we can also make websites. I will be very frank with you, R has a lot of capacities, okay, though it is not explored. So, you might not learn multiple things like you need to learn Excel and word processor and PowerPoint and this and that, HTML, okay. And the best part of R is graphics. We will show you them later, okay. For this reason we use R. Okay, now we are coming to GUI for R, GUI for R, the graphical user interface. Now there are many interfaces for R, the IDs. These are the 4 commonly used. We are going for RKWard, okay. Though I will give you commands here which will help you in installation of any of this GUI if you want to, okay. So, these are the books which you can refer for understanding the content of the R world, okay. Now, some basic R terms which you need to know before we move ahead and go into RKWard, and we will reflect on these words again and again. First thing is the console. So this is the space where you write your commands, and you can see the output also. Okay, a space where you write your commands and you can see the output also. There is a working directory, which is in common parlance is the place where you store or read your data. Okay, so suppose you are reading your data from some place. So you say that in a working directory, I will write back my data there or write my output there. Okay, package. This is very important. A package or a library is collection of predefined or user defined functions. Okay, predefined or user defined functions. So please understand, this is where R is unparalleled. Multiple users have generated multiple functions, and which one ever suits you. Like if I am teaching operations through R, I can teach finance through R. I can even teach project management through R, whatnot. You just can't limit R that way. So that is there. Script, yeah, this is very important. So as I told you, Google script and app script is there. So what happens, sometimes you need to do one operation on multiple files. Like you have to average the data of a particular year, and then you have to report that in a particular format. Then again, same calculation have to be done for next year and next year. So in R, you can just write a code like I did it. I managed 20 Excel file input, and I generated 20 outputs in one Word file. Just writing one code took input of 20 files, and the output was 20 tables, one table per file, but not 20 separate documents at once. So that's the advantage. And workspace, for the moment, wherever whatever calculations you are doing, these variables are displayed and saved at that moment. What you consider as a ROM also, and then you can save it further for further usage. Okay, so these are the methods to install. We have already done that. For Ubuntu users, following are the other commands which they can use, because there is this. Okay, so when you use this command, the remotes install GitHub. Additional tab or teaching tab will appear, and that we will see right now. I will just demonstrate to you. Let's open RKWard. I've already run the previous command, install packages. I'm just using, here you can see there is no teaching tab. Okay, now we go to R console, we type this and we press enter, and now it will take time to install it. Okay, so it is downloading. So by the time we come back, it will have a separate tab, and we will show you that. Okay, and R Commander is a very famous tool also. It's very good. We are not using it because RKWard I found is much better than this, though in initial days R Commander was quite used. Okay, now this is Rattle. Rattle is another software. I think R analysis for total data, something like that. I don't know. This is the way to install that. It's quite basic. The YouTube link of somebody else who has done analysis on this is available. R analytic flow is also nice. It is very preliminary but very good. They all have different usages. Okay. So one thing which we were discussing, that people get actually feared. R is coding. Yes, R is coding only if you understand partial things. So please understand, discuss the difference between command line instructions and GUI instructions. So just look at the slide. In Windows, if you type CMD, you will get a command prompt, a black window like this. Now I will show you the window itself, but how does it differ from GUI? Look at this commands on the left hand side in green colors, right hand side on the screen, left hand to me. There is something called the functions of the commands, list files in current directory. So if you type dir, let's do that. Okay, I cannot type यहाँ पर, I cannot type that much. So these commands have to be entered in the command prompt. Like dir, if you type, you will get the directory directly. If you type dir the path, you will get the complete directory, which is the location which we have mentioned. If you want to move one level up, that we can try. Right now you can see the path, which is C user smart class. If I put c dot dot cd dot dot, it goes one level up. If I go again, it will go one level up. So in this way, all the commands can be executed. Now here I am typing. Even the next command you say mkdir, C path, the path is given. So you are making the directory by typing. On GUI, what you do is very simple. This is GUI where you just click mouse and you go inside and outside of the icons. Okay. So that is the basic difference between GUI and command line. So R Studio, R base generally works on command line. Most of the people try to work on command line. However, to make simple things simple, we have found out those softwares or those environments which will make statistics operatable from the GUI interface. Okay, and every software can be commanded through command line and GUI. So R primarily use command line for Studio version, the R Studio version. If you are too much in the command line, you are primarily a programmer. At all, you write instructions, you write scripts. Okay. However, we have talked earlier also that we are going for GUI R. Next, we will jump into that itself. So now our next session will be to go inside the RKWard interface. Thank you.